To offer some things I got from Google called the Do the Five. So it's hands, elbows, face, and feet, and feel. Hello, Bells and Boys, and welcome back to another Southern Belle Speaks Sunday. I am Southern Belle from the city, and in light of these current events, I wanted to give some tips on surviving the coronavirus. So I have a few things. I got my little notebook just to remind you during this time to not panic, to not delve into the hysteria of the masses. So first, I wanted to offer some things I got from Google called the Do the Five. So it's hands, elbows, face, and feet, and feel. So you want to wash your hands for 20 seconds, cough into your elbow. Face, do not touch it. Feet, stay 3 feet apart or more from another. And if you feel sick, stay home. So those are Do the Five: hands, elbows, face, feet, and feel. And the reason that we want to stay so far away from a person is because droplets spread from nose and mouth, and those droplets can spread to your nose and mouth and cause you to contract the virus. Also, if your hand touches a contaminated surface and you touch your nose, mouth, you can also contract the virus that way. So we want to protect ourselves. While there are some cases that are in other areas, we don't know if they're in our area yet. We want to be cautious because by the time of the incubation period, by the time someone has symptoms, they probably already have it and have spread to others. So we want to be very careful. However, we don't want to allow hysteria to cause us to panic and do things that we wouldn't normally do in a case like this. So now that we've got that out of the way, I want to share some things that you can do while you're waiting for this period to be over. Some things that you can do, say if you're in, quarantine, or if you're just out of school or out of work and you don't know what to do with your time. I know people get cabin fever, especially when they're not allowed to leave. It's a mindset, honestly, because there's times that you don't leave the house for days at a time, but when you're told you can't, then you get a little start crazy and you don't know what to do with your time. So just to kind of redirect your mind to some other things, I have some tips here for you guys. So this is similar to some of my tips. I did a video on winter blues. I'll leave that in the cards. When you have winter blues, some things you can do. So these are some similar tips, but these are things you can do when you actually can't leave the house as well. So first I want to talk on spring cleaning. During this time, by now we've started our year off. We've had our goals for the start of 2020. We've had our goals on staying clean and stuff like that. But by March, we've gotten a little lax on the cleaning. Kids are in the routine of school again. We've gotten a little lax. So spend this time to spring clean. And even if you have been staying clean, to rearrange your feng shui, as people used to say. Rearrange your house, change your bedding, maybe move your bed to the other side of the room, rearrange your room, your space, your living space, and just kind of give yourself a fresh feel. Sometimes moving things around actually opens a space and makes you feel like that your space is a little bit larger, which would be very necessary during this time because you're feeling kind of boxed in if you can't leave the house. So spring cleaning is definitely a good way to spend your time during these times. Next, I want to focus on, your mental clarity and doing some things like meditation. You guys know I've been really working on my meditation and trying to master that. So meditate, reading is very good for mental clarity, reading some books that are going to help you in the direction of how you're focusing your mind, how you're, laying down your mental state and things like that. So definitely work on your mental clarity. Meditation. Audible is a great use of reading without actually having to go out and buy a book. You can just download it on your phone and listen to it while you're cleaning, while you're working on other things around the house. You can listen to a book on Audible. I love Audible. Next is to take advantage of this sleeping time. You have extra time now if you're not working to sleep in, doing some things that you're not able to do. Your kids can sleep in, and so, take advantage of the time that you have to sleep in and get that good rest that you haven't been able to get when it's been so chaotic and mundane. But also, while speaking on sleeping. You want to sleep in, but you want to keep your kids on a schedule. So I know that your kids are probably excited if they're out of school, and my nieces and nephews are very excited. But one thing I told them, like, we don't want to spend this time just letting them go stark crazy, not sleeping, because when things get back and this mass hysteria is over, we will be going back to normal. And so throwing a kid off of a schedule will really disrupt your future schedule when you're trying to get them back on. So I encourage that while allowing them to sleep in a little bit and allowing yourself to sleep in, keep your kids on a schedule as if they were in school. So spend some time, if their teachers have given them online activities to do, then you can follow that curriculum. Or there's Scholastics, they have like an online free curriculum online. I'll leave the link down in the description box. There's also some things if you have younger children that they can do. There's ABC Mouse if you have a subscription to that. It's not very expensive. So spend some time with your kids on making sure that they're keeping an educational curriculum throughout the day. Spend some time, doing things that you wouldn't be able to do with them, such as playing ball or playing catch or playing board games, things like that for fun, but also keeping them on a sleeping schedule, an eating schedule, and sometimes spending with educational. Also, things that you want to do as far as your schedule to get yourself back on, a skincare routine, a nighttime routine, things that you want to be able to incorporate back into your day when you go back to work. Find time to go to the gym. This time, a gym is for me, this is hard, but a gym is very easy to get contaminated at this moment because it's a lot of people that are sweating, a very hot and humid environment. People are touching things, or people touching right after them, laying on things. You're releasing things through your pores when you're sweating. So if you are brave enough to go to the gym, then make sure that you're wiping down the surface beforehand and after. But also, you want to, if you're not going to the gym, incorporate a routine at home into your daily routine. So now is the time to get those things down, going to the gym, getting, your exercise in at home, getting your skincare routine in the morning, at night, developing a good routine so that when you go back to work, you can reincorporate that in. Along the lines of exercise, you also want to get a routine for meal prep. So, spend this time, figuring out a good meal plan for you to be eating on. Do your research on nutrition and things that your body might need, and get some meal preps in set. So meal prepping is very easy to do, and a lot of people do it on Sundays for the rest of the week, and I know it gets hard when you have to work. So during this time, if you may not have work and your children may not have school, meal prepping, even though you may not be going somewhere, just to get yourself a routine of doing it will be very beneficial when you go back to work and when your kids go back to school. So lastly, but not least, and mostly important, spend time with God. Use this time to really develop your relationship with God. I know that even though we should give most of our time to God, it gets hard to take that extra time to go into your prayer closet, to read your Bible, to study your word, but during this time when you have extra time, get yourself into a routine of, reading your Bible daily. I have the Bible app. You can start reading plans on your Bible app so that it reminds you every day to read a certain passage. It gives you a devotional to read. So you can also do that and start a reading plan. Start to set a certain time in the morning, maybe even 5 or 10 minutes to go into your prayer closet and, thank God for the things that He's given you. Thank God for that you and your kids are alive and healthy. And always, we can ask for things, but it's most important to give God His praise. So lastly, I just wanted to say, spend time with God during these times. And maybe God, presented this just to give us all time to slow down and get our lives in order. So I hope that you received these tips. I hope that you are being safe and healthy in these times. And I hope that you're not allowing this to drive you crazy. I know it's hard. I know it's scary with all the things that the public is putting out daily. But just, stay knowledgeable about what you can do best to protect yourself and protect your family. Always stay encouraged and remember that you are blessed. I'm Southern Belle from the city. Thanks for watching Southern Belle Speaks Sunday, and I will see you next week.